What's going on, guys? Juice Reviews here. With 2024 recently coming to a close, I thought I'd share with you guys a top 10 countdown of what I believe is the best 10 album releases that came out the past year. Starting off at number 10, we have Xiu Xiu with 13-inch Frank Beltrame Italian stiletto with bison horn grips. This is a very noisy, a very experimental album that honestly I've been very addicted to this past year. I haven't been able to stop listening to it. I keep finding myself coming back to it all the time. It's honestly just a pretty wonderful album, and I really didn't expect to like this as much as I did. It's very emotional, very unique, very unforgettable. It's just overall an amazing album from a really amazing band. Then at number 9 we have Fontaines DC with Romance. This was a standout record to come out in 2024, and honestly you can see why. Is this Fontaines' best album? I would contest that it is. I think that Green just unlocks a new wave of coolness in the indie rock scene, and I think his vocals sound better than they ever have done before. So yeah, to me this is where the band have really came into their own, and that's a big achievement to say the least. At number 8, Blood Incantation came out with a brand new death metal album called Absolute Elsewhere. Whether you like this band or not, you really have to give them some credit for just being so original and different for a death metal band. On this album, they're often seen blending progressive death metal with electronic music, which is a combination you don't really see very often. I think it's very innovative, and that's pretty much why I thought it deserved a spot on this list. Don't get me wrong, I'm not the hugest metal fan in the world, but I just think this is something special. At number 7, we have the new Mount Eerie album called Night Palace, and this is just an outstanding album. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about it, but what I will say is that this is easily Phil's most ambitious work to date, and if you're a hardcore fan of Mount Eerie, then you're definitely going to love this. At number 6, shout out to Cindy Lee. Diamond Jubilee is an incredible presentation of songwriting, vision, and execution. It's just such an overwhelming, powerful psychedelic album that just comes right out of nowhere and hits you hard. Yeah, this is definitely one of my favourite psychedelic albums to ever release, and yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 if I've ever seen one. At number 5, we have You Won't Go Before You're Supposed To by Knox Loose. This is probably the band's best album to date, and I think it serves as a cool little reminder that a metal band can appeal to the mainstream without softening their sound. At number 4, I'm going to put the Cure album, Songs of the Lost World. I think this album got into the number 4 spot purely because I love the Cure as a band, and I feel like this album really represents everything for what the Cure is. On first listen, I instantly knew it was 10 out of 10 perfect, like instantly, and I rarely get that. But yeah, this is top shelf material from an amazing band, and it's not really too far away from their other masterpieces in terms of overall quality. Going into my top 3, at number 3 we have Magdalena Bay's Imaginal Disc. This album had me instantly stunned the first time I ever heard it. And I say this with all seriousness, I feel like this album is genuinely as good as pop will ever get. Like, I can't fathom anything better, and to my mind this is literally the best thing I've ever heard from pop as a genre. Pretty much ever. I just love this style so much. They really do bring back that old 80s sound with a modern twist. It's expertly produced, and these songs immediately get your attention, and just the vocals on here as well, they're amazing. There's really nothing bad I can say about this album. At number 2, I'm going to put the new MGMT album, Loss of Life. 2024 I think has been a pretty great year for music, and I don't think many people would disagree with that take. I feel like we've got some years in the 2020s that aren't too great, and we've got some that are a little bit better, but 2024 to me stands out as the best. And I can't help but feel with this decade alone, this album has some of the most beautiful songs in a collection, in one album collection of the last 4 years. It's just stunning. And this album was a bit of a shock to me as well. When I think of MGMT, normally I would think of these trippy dudes, but this album is almost like a completely different band. You might as well say this isn't even MGMT at this point. Because believe it or not, the band members in this band have grown up, and they're slightly older men now, and their music has definitely matured. It's really weird to think that this album is kind of like a grown-up version of what MGMT is. But it's honestly true. This is a soft rock album, and it really more appeals to people that want to watch the sunset. But I absolutely love the direction they took with this album. It's beautiful, it's psychedelic, it's bittersweet. And then finally, at number 1, we've got Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish. I honestly just can't help but feel that this album should be talked about for decades to come. And I'll admit, I didn't think she had it in her. I really didn't think she was able to make an album this flawless. I've never really been a huge Billie Eilish fan, and I've always thought she was a great singer with so much talent, and I just never thought she laid into the style that suits her best. You got her first debut album where she's a little bit more edgy, then her second album is the complete opposite, and it's like this soft Baroque pop. But with this album, Finneas does a really great job of capturing Billie Eilish's voice, and I just think this is the way she needs to keep going. Detail in this album is insane, and when I tell you now, this album will move you. So there you have it, there is my top 10 albums of 2024. If you liked this video, don't forget to smash that like button, and don't forget to press the subscribe bell as well if you want to see more album reviews and albums that are coming out in 2025. I think that's about it. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.